This SoonerScoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. If you're ready to see the rest of the world just as clearly, get your fresh perspective at Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIX.
For the first time in a long time, it feels like there is a little bit of momentum. Welcome back, Eddie Radosevich, Bob Przybylo here from the SoonerScoop.com studios. A Hoops Report / Portal Report. Oklahoma officially announces a trio of signings on Tuesday afternoon. I think two that we knew. Taye Davis, Nigel Pack. Obviously, we had been talking about Xavier Brown from St. Joe's over on the Crimson Corner. Good time to be a member of SoonerScoop.com just for $1. Go over there, sign up. A lot going on right now with stickball, obviously, Diamond Sports, OU Texas coming up. Bob and I preview everything for OU Texas as well as OU's trip over to Georgia on the Diamond Sports side of things in the stickball report. You can see that here on SoonerScoop.com's YouTube channel. But Bob, I'm dead serious. Like, for the first time in a long time, it feels like there's some positive momentum within the Lloyd Noble Center right now on the men's side of things for Porter Moser.
This is what was supposed to happen, right? You make the NCAA tournament, you build off, there's some juice that comes with that, and we've just seen them being able to hit Plan A targets. That has been like the revelation of the last month, is not having to, well, dang, we didn't get this guy. Well, let's circle back to him and let's build him up as if that was the guy we wanted the entire time. Instead, they've gone for the big fish, and every single one that they've really put the time, effort, resources to try to land, it has worked out. 3-4-3.
Let's start with Taye Davis. He was the first guy to jump in, and coming in from Notre Dame, averaged 15 points per game, 5.3 rebounds, 1.8 assists. Started his career actually at Seton Hall before heading over to South Bend. Scored in double figures in 27 of 33 games, including 14 straight last year. When you're talking about kind of a guy that is maybe not so much like a big, but definitely a 4, it could be a Taye Davis, and he should fill into the starting lineup for Porter Moser next season. Exactly.
I mean, this was the initial target for OU. This is who they wanted. This is who they brought in before anyone else. They brought in Taye Davis, and it was going to be a battle between OU and Georgia, and just a massive victory for the Sooners, because they got to replace the entire front court. Sure. You know, it was Jalen Moore, Sam Godwin. You decided, Luke Northweather, Yaya, guys like that, Jacob Fredson Cole. Like, you had to bring everyone in. So there's chances galore for people that want to take that type of risk. And, Taye Davis, that is a great start. But you go from last year, OU took like 3 or 4 weeks into the portal to land their first guy. It was Kobe Elvis, which elicited zero excitement across the board. It just did. I mean, it's not a knock on Kobe. That was the state of the program, where Taye Davis, within the first week, it let people know OU was being aggressive and they were finding a way to close the show.
Should also mention, when you're talking about rebuilding that backcourt, Mo McGee is going to be back.
Yes.
They're also adding Kai Rogers, and I think that he's a guy that it's kind of interesting, because I know that he signed, it was back in December. Like, a lot of people, I think, just have forgotten about the big man, 6'10", 230. You've seen some of the clips out there on the Overtime Elite stuff that's been thrown out there. Very excited about Kai Rogers.
Yeah, and it's clear that when Mo McGee said he's coming back for another season, obviously OU believes they've unlocked something in him during the
whatever
finals.
That was into February to March. Bring it back.
Channel it. Yeah, exactly. Bring that for next season. That probably said, we don't need a starting center, and we don't need a backup center, because Kai Rogers is that guy. I think OU fans have just been conditioned. This goes back to Kruger.
Sure.
To just not having like the
100%
dominant big. So you're always like, well, that's just another scrub. They'll try to act like he's good, but he's really not. Kai Rogers is a legitimate consensus top 100 prospect across the board. And when OU won that battle, I just kind of was it power forward or is it center? And so then, based on their portal efforts and who they've been looking at, they see Kai clearly as a center, and I think that's a 1A, a 1B. Like, McGee gets in foul trouble, they're not going to hesitate.
Sure.
Rogers is going to be thrown out there, so they feel very confident with what he brings to the table. So that just means finding another power forward, which we will get to. But you can tell it's like they're just checking off the boxes, and I bet they're starting to smile, maybe have that cigar or something. Like, they're feeling pretty dang good about where this is all going.
We'll circle back because Oklahoma did have a visitor here over the last couple of days that could possibly be that answer in the front court. Nigel Pack coming in from Miami, a name that I feel like we've talked about for the last 5 years, but he got hurt on December, it was early December 10th, December 13th, something like that, against Tennessee. Only played in 13 games a year ago, but what you're getting is somebody that has, played a ton of college basketball and played college basketball, much like Taye Davis, at a very, very high level.
Yeah, you think about his days at Kansas State and at Miami. He goes to the Final Four, and we all know him because of, it goes back to the Life Wallet, and he was the first name.
He was the NIL guy in college basketball. Imagine how it's changed.
Yes, and now like $800K is a bargain.
Yeah, PJ Haggerty wants $4 million.
You would jump at that, but it was so weird because it felt like a smokescreen, right? We all thought maybe Frankie Collins, maybe the kid at TCU going to land with Sooners, and instead it's like they're working. They brought Collins in for a visit, didn't bring Pack in. Pack had visited OU once upon a time, but it's like they didn't bring him in for that portal visit, so you're wondering what's going on. And like we said before, a lot of commitments happened this portal cycle in basketball without ever taking a trip to the campus.
Sure.
And Nigel Pack was one of them, and that was just a massive Monday. Everything happened on Monday so far when it comes to the OU portal stuff.
They know how to get the week started.
They get Taye Davis and Pack on the very same day, and it was just a massive statement to say, yeah, we are going to compete. We'll do what's necessary to get us to where we want to go.
If nothing else, you think about perception. We talk about this a whole lot in the recruiting side of things, but just the perception of getting a Nigel Pack over a possible reunion in Manhattan at Kansas State, Kansas, Indiana.
Yep.
I think it's a big deal, and maybe it's more perception too, just from building off of the NCAA tournament appearance last year, as well as Oklahoma being more aggressive in the portal. And I think that you saw that when you see the announcement of Xavier Brown from St. Joseph's, average 16.6 or 17.6 points per game, 5.2 rebounds, 4.3 assist, one of 5 players nationally to average 17.5 a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1.5 steal. He's one of the better backcourt members that was in the portal. I'm very, very excited. As excited as I am for Nigel Pack, I think the addition of Xavier Brown and then also his stepfather, Justin Scott, coming in to fill the vacancy on the Oklahoma coaching staff with Porter Moser.
Once it gets confirmed.
Once it gets, we think.
He's been retweeting things that are congratulating him, going OU.
Okay.
Xavier is in. It's going to happen, but that press release has not gone down just yet. But yeah, we talked about a 2-for-1 special with Taye, Nigel on that Monday.
Yep.
A 2-for-1 special going to St. Joe's with the father-son combo of Brown and Scott. Xavier and Pack. I'm interested to see how that comes together.
Sure.
Is there going to be a real point guard? Do they just go back and forth with it? They're both not the tallest guys, but they bring incredible scoring ability. They know how to pat. The 5 rebounds from his size. Porter loved that.
Oh yeah,
rebound down.
Talk about coming down.
That is a guy that is going to do exactly what Porter is looking for him to do. And I think once they knew they had Xavier Brown, they kind of closed up shop on guard. You could really see the follows dropped off considerably. Sure. You didn't hear anything about any visits for any other guard prospects. Now, maybe that changes here. And, the portal window is closed. We know there's going to be some late scragglers that come in with their paperwork being finalized after. But, they feel very good with Dayton Forsythe. It's in a way, maybe trying to boost a little shot in the arm to Dayton. It's like, yeah,
sure,
we got Nigel, we got Xavier.
A little shot of confidence.
It doesn't mean we're done with you. We really need you. Maybe you can't be the starting. You hope that exit interview they were just honest with them. Said, maybe you're not the starting point guard, but we need you, and we're not going to go guard heavy in the portal. We're going to get a couple pieces, and we know you're one of those massive pieces to get us to where we need to go. Just
the energy that Dayton Forsythe brought in off the bench this past year, I think was significant. I think it kind of spurred them on in a couple games that maybe they weren't able to win on the scoreboard, but it definitely built confidence that they found themselves in or relying upon at the end of February and then obviously into March at the SEC tournament as well as the NCAA tournament. Jadon Jones, Josh Nwankwo, it's going to be rather interesting to just see how they fit into this, because I do think, like, when we're talking about the backcourt and maybe Oklahoma shutting things down in the portal, you still do have a Jadon Jones, and it seems like that's kind of adding somebody that you didn't have a year ago, obviously.
Exactly. That was who
it's like a portal guy.
You had penciled him in. He was the starter that ended up being Bryson Goodine's spot during the conference season. It's supposed to be Jadon Jones, a 3-and-D, 40% three-point shooter, but a heck of a defender. He was going to be your lockdown. Maybe he would have got some of those one-on-one stops when it got to really late in the clock.
I'm going to convince myself that he was going to.
See, that's the only issue. And I'm doing it myself. With Jeff Nwankwo and Jadon Jones, we're like, oh, this team would have been so awesome if they were there. We have no idea how they would have responded when SEC play. We know Nwankwo was by far, it seems like, Porter's favorite summer player in the offense, defense, the way he was going before he tore his Achilles. But they both should be back. They both obviously announced that they're coming back, and I feel they're 1A, 1B in terms of the wing. I don't know who's going to start between them. I also feel they can play on the court at the same time. So maybe that's another reason why you're not concerned about in terms of trying to find another like combo guard or point guard or anything like that. You feel that all five of those guys with Brown, Pack, Forsythe, Jones, Nwankwo, they can handle it if they're being asked to do that.
You mentioned that Oklahoma might not be done in the front court, though. They hosted Darien Reed from Alabama. Alabama becoming the AAA farm system for Oklahoma. Or maybe
that'll work. That's okay.
I think Alabama would say it's the other way around, and he's just getting sent down, possibly. He did visit, though. 6'8", 220, 6 points, 2.8 rebounds, so just under 3 a game. Just played 14 minutes, but obviously on a very, very good Alabama team.
A great Bama team, and a McDonald's All-American. Just didn't really happen because of all the pieces around him with the Tide for this season. So I'm a little curious, like when he enters, like you probably would have gotten your shot going into this. I'm not complaining. Just saying, it looked like the door would have opened for him with the Tide going into his sophomore year. But yeah, and that's why it's like it's not center, it's power forward. They want one more power forward. It was initially looking at Kamari McGriff from UNC Wilmington, but the day before he's supposed to arrive in Norman, he commits to Kansas State. If you go from Kamari McGriff and you pivot to Reed, that's a net positive.
Yeah,
You've done something in a massive, massive way. And I believe that, I don't know what the OU budget looks like at this point. It's probably stretched pretty thin because they worked so hard to get Pack, Davis, and Brown. But if you can get Reed and go 4 for 4, that would be one heck of a portal haul. And just, we know North Carolina State is in the running. That's where Reed went to Monday. We were all, I was worried. I go, you're going head to head against Will Wade.
I didn't think he'd ever make it.
You're not arriving in Norman. He gets to OU Tuesday evening. Today is the real visit.
Sure.
So, we'll have a much better feel of where things stand going into Thursday and Friday and beyond. And as of right now, no other visits are scheduled. So this feels like a Wolfpack or Sooners type of deal. And the fact, that they were able to get him to campus, the fact that he wanted people to know that he didn't say anything about his trip to Raleigh.
Interesting.
On Instagram, he wanted people, I don't know if it's like a call out that he likes OU, a call out to North Carolina State. Hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I need the money. I made the trip. The price just went up.
We need to talk a little bit, but massive to get him there, and we'll see if that works out. If it doesn't, then you kind of have to go back to see who's still left, and that would be the first, not like clear miss,
sure,
but the first case where you're like, okay, who's still left in the portal that we feel could really bring something at that 4 spot.
I think the overwhelming theme from Oklahoma's portal experience here over the last couple of weeks on the basketball side of things, it definitely seems like they're being more aggressive, and maybe so because they can with a little bit more money to handle or to be able to deal with just in the portal in general.
Yeah, they are absolutely more aggressive. I mean, any power forward transfer, that was one of the jokes I had from one of the sources. Like, if there's a power forward transfer, they're going, hey, we'll definitely look. I don't know if it'll lead to a visit, lead to like real interest, but we are looking at every power forward transfer. They learned. When you had Brandon Garrison and Sean Padula and Kevin Overton, you tried to set it aside like those are the 3. We want them all to know. We're looking at nobody else. It's just you guys. If you come in, we are set. And when you don't get them, and you had to try to find.
Ain't nobody giving hometown discounts these days.
You had to find some other guys, and the other thing, and this is just going to be a yearly deal. I feel with OU, whatever adjustments you made in terms of the financial numbers, then you learn the market just went to another level.
And might need to throw Kentucky's number out because it sounds like they're just spending like half of the economy out of the state of Kentucky.
And now you're starting to understand the Brandon Garrison thing. Like his agent saying you can get more. And for those that don't know, like Brandon Garrison just said flat out, stop it. Like, I want to stay with Kentucky. Sure. Would you stop shopping me around? I'm happy. Maybe a little bit like David Stone.
Yeah.
A little like, stop this. I want to be where I am. Stop trying to make this harder than what it needs to be. So you see OU adjust, but then the market adjusts in another way. So where OU's still not with the haves. They're not a have-not, but they're somewhere in between. It's clear that their budget was much improved, and obviously by the way that they attacked, the way that they had their packages ready right from the jump, because like I said, so many players committed without taking trips anywhere. Just let me know what my package is. I will let you know where I'm about to go. So great job in terms of these last 30 days. Now can they get the final piece?
Yeah, and obviously we'll be keeping an eye on the final piece with Darien Reed on campus on Wednesday. The PR release with the Justin Scott expected news to join the staff, and then kind of what's next for, I guess you enter the summer, and then before you know it, we'll be into football season and basketball season be firing up. But it does seem like this has a little bit of positive momentum, and for a season that we never knew if I never knew if Porter Moser was going to make it to year number 5. But it does seem like, if nothing else, you're coming off the NCAA tournament appearance, and you can finally just maybe breathe a little bit and be able to build a program that you didn't really know where the thing was headed here often throughout this 4th year.
Yeah, and this is one of those years, I think we've said a lot with Brent Venables. Like, you have all the resources. Now it's up to you.
Yeah, sure.
You're supposed to be this great head coach. Now you figure it out.
And unfortunately, it doesn't matter what they do in November. It certainly doesn't matter what they do at the beginning of December. Nobody's going to be paying attention until you get into conference play to kind of get over that hump that has been for Porter Moser.
Yeah, it's like you've got everything that you've asked for to this point is now at your disposal. If you're as good as what you believe you are and what we think you can be, show us. This is the year where Porter can really shine because, we've all had it's the chicken and the egg, the cart and the horse. Like, what is it? Is it the coaching? Is it the lack of talent? So the coaching doesn't matter? Well, now we're going to find out because the talent pool in Norman will never have been better than what is coming up. And I don't even know if they care about Philly because the new rule was 15 spots. I don't even know any team that'll try to go 14, 15. It's hard enough to get 10 or 11 guys in. What the heck will a 14 or 15 guy bring to the table? If they get Reed, they'd be at 12 scholarship. Still, Reed Lovelace is one of your walk-ons. I don't know if they would try to find another guard for super, super cheap or if they would just roll with what they got. But, this would be the most stacked roster and a nice little balance because what we look back at last year, and it worked, just one year rentals. It's like Glenn Taylor, Kobe L. It's like we just need to get guys for 1 year and try to make it work. If you have Xavier Brown for 2 years, if you have Reed for 3 years, like then you get to that retention point that Porter will always talk about, like grow old together. So this is, you're put into building blocks for maybe something that could be very special going into this year, but then going above and beyond.
Yeah, hey, look at us. This is positivity on the OU basketball side of things. Very good news for Porter Moser. We will continue to follow the Darien Reed visit here on Wednesday, updates on the Crimson Quarter, and that's going to do it for today's Portal Hoops / report. For Bob Przybylo, I'm Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you next time.